Welcome to the Socrative tutorial video. What is Socrative? Well, it is an easy-to-use software application that basically allows you to create quizzes very similar to Kahoot, which is another popular title. And it also allows you to create competitive quizzes done in teams called space races, as well as 3-question exit ticket surveys. Okay. Also with Socrative, you can, or the instructor can ask 1-question polls in the form of multiple choice, true, false, or short answer question. Now, how do you use Socrative? Basically, the instructor decides what he or she wants to launch. So it could be a quiz, a space race, which is a team quiz, or an exit ticket survey, or a quick question, which is just a 1-question poll. So they launch whatever it is, and then the student logs into the instructor's Socrative room by entering the room code that the instructor has provided. So the student does not need their own login information and account. They simply need this room code. Now the student takes whatever the assessment is that appears on the screen, which is whatever the instructor had launched. And then again, the student does not need the Socrative account, just the room code. And then the instructor can display or not display the results right away to the quiz, space race, or whatever. So that is basically how you use Socrative. So let's now take a Socrative quiz. So I am going to go into my browser here, and I'm in Socrative, and I am going to launch a particular quiz. Now I'm going to go over all the options and exactly how you launch a quiz later on in the video. So I, the instructor, have launched the quiz. Now the student, so I'm going to go to another tab and pretend I'm a student, simply goes to the website www.socrative.com. Okay, and then the student clicks login, student login, and they do not need their own account again. They put in whatever the room code is that you gave them. So my room name or code is Schneid, and then 2283. So in that room, the quiz that I have launched will be there. And so they click join. And then they can enter their name. So I'm going to just pick Jennifer. That's my name. Now I'm going to take the quiz as the student. So I'm just going to submit my answer. I find out right away if it was true or false. Okay, and I did not put the correct answer in. Okay. Today is a good day, true or false. I'm going to put true. This is what the student would do. Okay, and the correct answer was true, and the explanation would be perfect if it was Friday. Now for question 3, I have a short answer to answer here. What's the common acronym used to mean self-contained underwater breathing apparatus? And I'm going to put SCUBA. And that is correct. So correct answers, you see there's different formats. Also lowercase happens to work. Okay, and then 4 out of 5, what is an integer? I'll just put decimals and fractions. Okay, and that actually is not correct. Integers are numbers of the set -3, -2, -1, etc. So I find out right away what my answer is and if it was correct or false. Now the first woman in space was named Sally Ride. I think that's true, so I'm going to click true. And I find out it's incorrect. The correct answer is false because the first woman in space was Valentina Tereshkova. And so now I have completed the current activity. Now I'm going to come back to the teacher screen back here and sign in. Sometimes it signs me out. So the teacher now can look here at results. And so I, as Jennifer, the student, have just submitted all of my answers to the quiz, and the teacher can see those results live. That's why this little, you can see the symbol here means it's live. Now I'm going to go back to the Socrative site as a student. So I'm going to go to www.socrative.com. And I am going to be another student. So I'm still going to do login, student login, and I'm going to do the Schneid 2283 because that's the room. But now I'm going to put my name as something else. That's actually my middle name. Okay. And now I'm going to complete the quiz. Maybe I'm not having such a good day. Okay, let's see. Just answering quickly those same questions with different answers than the other student did. And I'm going to say false there. Okay, so I've completed the current activity. This is the second student. And now I'm going to go back to the Socrative screen and log back in because for whatever reason it logs me out. I'm going to go to results. And now I can see both students' results. And if I want to show it to the class, I can turn off the names so nobody knows who did what. Interestingly, we both scored the same, so that, just so happened. Okay, and so I can also turn off the responses or show them as well as the results or show them. Okay, once I am done with the quiz and the results and everything, I am going to click Finish. And so this will end the responses to the current activity. So now the quiz that I had launched is no longer launched. It is done. Now to share here, you need to upgrade to Pro. Okay, so, but I can export the report of this quiz. Okay, and we are going to go over all of the choices and all the options a little bit later when we talk about exporting reports. But just so you know that you can export the results from that particular Socrative quiz. Okay, so that is in essence how you would take a Socrative quiz as a student, and then we're going to talk about how you launch it later on in the video. Okay, now I would like to show you how to sign up for Socrative. And so the first thing I'm going to do is go to a web browser, get rid of all of this, and I'm going to go to Socrative.com. And I get their main screen. I can click on Login Now. Now remember that students do not need an account to participate in your quizzes or whatever you're doing with Socrative. So if they click Student Login, then they have to just enter the room name or room code that you provide to them. And then they can join your quiz or whatever you are going to launch. Now, teacher login, if you've never logged in, you have to click Sign Up Now and fill out all of the information, press next until you're done with that process. Once you have established an account, then you would click Teacher Login, and you have your MDC credentials, your email and password, and then you can click Sign In. And so you get right to your main page. Now the next thing I'd like to show you is how easy it is to create a Socrative quiz. So I'm going to go up to the top where my tabs are and click Quizzes. Okay, and I have some quizzes that I've already created, but I want a brand new one. So I'm going to click Add Quiz, Create New, and then I get this page here. I can make a new quiz, so let's call this Socrative Demo Quiz number 1 or something like that. And now I can align the quiz to my state standards if that's important. So let's say mathematics is my content area, which it used to be. Okay, and then the core, I'm going to go down to Florida, okay, in whatever state you're in, okay, and the best mathematics core. So that's the most current core. And then I can select my grade, maybe as 9 through 12, and then I can find the appropriate standards to choose. Okay, so that is a way to align your quiz to specific standards. Now I'm going to skip that for now. It's not important for me right now. I'm just going to create a multiple choice question to start. And so a multiple choice question I'm going to ask in math, what is a factor? And notice I can enter in a formula or equation. I have a subscript and a superscript, as well as my bold, italicize, and underline. Now I cannot change the point value. If I try to, that's upgradable. I'd have to upgrade to the Pro subscription. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that alone and keep my 1 point question. And now I can enter in the answers. So a divisor, I can say it is a multiple. I can say it is an odd number. Or what was my 4th item? A decimal. And so notice also I can put pictures instead of the text, which might be really great. Let's say if it's a foreign language class, then you can have perhaps the wording be the question and then the pictures be the answer, so the students have to identify the correct words to support the picture. So there's many reasons you might use a picture instead of text. Now for this question, I can give the entire question a picture just to make it more decorative. And I found one online I liked and I downloaded it. And now I'm going to click it and say open, and it puts my picture right into the question. I can also throw the question away with the trash can. So that is very easy to create a multiple choice question. Now right here, an explanation that I could give for my correct answer. My correct answer was A. And so then I can say a factor is the same as a divisor, or something even more descriptive. Okay, so you could, optionally put an explanation for the correct answer. Okay, now I'm going to add another question, very easy, and so I am going to add a true-false question. Okay, and so my true-false question is going to be Socrative is a tool that will engage my students. Okay, and so that's a statement rather, and the correct answer is true. Okay, so I will leave that as true, and I'll say there are many features besides quizzes to explore to engage students in their learning, or something like that. And so that is what I'm going to put as the correct answers explanation. And again, I can add a picture, and I can also delete the question. Now, when you choose a short answer option, you really have to think about the answers people will give. So, for example, what does the acronym KISS stand for? And so there are a few different possibilities. One is keep it simple, stupid. Or keep it simple, comma, stupid. Or keep it simple, silly. or keep it simple, comma, silly. And you can probably think of other variations as well. And then you might want to put a period on the end as well to see if that makes a difference or not. Okay, and so your explanation, you can just say whatever you want. This is my explanation. Okay, and so that's how you would do a short answer. Now, when you are all done with your quiz, you can save and exit. Okay, and then you automatically get your quiz with some options. Okay, the date that it was created, and you can duplicate or copy that quiz for whatever reason you might want to do that, and then maybe edit the copy. You can download that quiz, and you can share the quiz with other instructors. So it says share this URL with teachers so they can directly import a copy of this quiz into their accounts. This is not how you share with students. Okay, remember with students you have to give them your room code or your room number. Okay, so that is different. This share just means to share with other instructors. And so that is how you can create a Socrative quiz. Now that you've created a quiz, I want to show you how to launch that quiz. So going to my main Socrative screen, I'm on Launch on top, and I want to launch a quiz. Okay, and so do I want to stop the current activity? Apparently I have something running. And so here are all of the quizzes that I have created. I want to launch the Socrative Demo Quiz 1 that we just created. And so I'm going to select it and click Next. Now on this page you have delivery methods and settings, and I like that they have the little eyes right here so you can really see the difference. So instant feedback, students have to answer the questions in order. They cannot change their answers, and they are given feedback after every question, whether they got it right or wrong, as well as any explanation that you gave. And then you as the instructor will monitor their progress in a table of live results. So that's, perhaps the most popular option, okay? But let's look at this open navigation now. With open navigation, students can answer in any order that they want and change answers before finishing. Okay, and that's more of a natural way that we encourage and teach students to take tests, is to jump around and do the easiest ones first, right, and gain those points and everything. And again, you as the instructor can monitor the progress in a table of live results. Okay, so the instant feedback option is, much more structured than the open navigation where they can jump around and change their answers. Okay, so you want to think about what type of experience you want it to be for the student. And now we also have teacher paced, where the teacher controls the flow of questions and monitors responses as they happen, and then you can skip and revisit questions if you need to also, which would be really great. Now notice if I click each instant feedback, we have the same options on the right, okay, but they're defaulted in terms of what is selected. And so you can, look at, do you want to require names? Do you want to shuffle the questions for every person? Shuffle the answers as well? Show question feedback, or you can turn that off, as well as show the final score. So that's really what you need to do. And then in the upper right-hand corner, you can change to a different quiz if you want also. And then you can click Start. And then you as the instructor get the report page, okay? And here, okay, if I go to a new tab and go to Socrative.com, I can have the student then log in, and they get my room name. Let me just sign back in. Sometimes it signs me out. Schneid 2283. And so if they enter the Schneid 2283, I have just launched that quiz, the Socrative demo quiz. Okay, and so let me put this in again. Maybe I spelled it wrong or something. Let's see here. Okay, and enter your name. And now they are in the quiz that you just launched. Okay, and so then they would take the quiz. And, I'm just answering anything here. And submit the answer. Okay, and so what does it stand for? And they gave all of the possible correct answers and okay. And then if we go back to our main screen here, one of our screens anyway, I think the teacher, oh yes, the main screen here, we have to click on the results. And now we can see, and sometimes it kicks us out, but clicking on the results again, we can show what that student did, what their score was, and what they got correct and what they did not get correct. Okay, so that is how you would launch a quiz. Okay, and I am going to finish now, and that ends any possibility that anyone else can respond. So I'm finishing that quiz, and now I can launch something else. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is how to launch a space race. So a space race is a team competition based on any of the quizzes you have already created. So I click on space race. Okay, and I'm going to click on the Socrative demo quiz again, click next, and now here I can choose the number of teams. Let's say we'll have 4 teams, and the students can either choose their team, or I recommend auto assign, and it will just put them all into different teams. Okay, but you can think about what you want to do. You can change the icon, whatever you want. Maybe I'll do a B. Okay, and countdown is a pro feature, so we can't have a countdown there. Okay, also I can show the feedback for the question. I can change some of the options on the right. Okay, and now I'm going to click Start. So I have launched the space race. Now I'm going to come back into my Socrative, and I'll start from the beginning, Socrative.com. And as a student, they would log in, select Student Login, and then put in the room number. And their name. Okay, I'm not sure what team I am on. Okay, and then at the top it tells me Team Blue. So I want to do this as fast as possible and get the most amount of points possible. Okay, to win for my team. So keep it simple, silly. I'll put this time. Submit answer, and I am done. Now if I come back here to one of my screens, okay, and I only had the one student going, but we see that the student got to hear out of the total amount right. And so all of the blue team members, it would take their average, and then the magenta, the lime, and the peach, and then we could see which is the winner, who has the highest average. Okay, now if I click Finish, that ends our space race. And so do I want to end? Okay. Now another thing I want to show you, coming back into or logging back in, is how to launch an exit ticket. So I'm back on Launch, and now I want to launch an exit ticket. So that's great at the end of class. Okay, and so let me come back into Socrative. Remember, this is the teacher view with the results. And now I'm going to go to another tab, and I'm going to back out of here, and I'm going to do the student login, and then Schneid 2283 again is the room name. And now, put my name in. Okay, so I have 3 questions to answer at the end of the class as a student. 2 of them you cannot change. They will always be the same. The last one can be whatever you want. So the first question, how well did you understand today's material? I'll say B, pretty well. What did you learn in today's class? A lot of interesting things. And hopefully you get a better response than I just put from your students. Now I'm going to submit the answer, and now the third part, you as the teacher put up a question either on the board or online somehow, on a PowerPoint, a Google Doc, whatever you want, and then the students answer here. So you can have a content-related question and see how well that they understood it. So the answer is 4 or something. That's my answer. Okay, and so now the teacher logs in. Okay. And they can go to results to see exactly what was answered by each student on the exit ticket. Okay, and so that is how you launch a quiz, have a space race, and launch an exit ticket. Okay, and then to finish this activity, of course, I'm going to click Finish. Now I want to show you how to create a poll with a quick question. These quick questions are for capturing responses quickly to questions you pose aloud or in writing. They can be multiple choice, true, false, or short answer. Now the question itself is not displayed by the software except for the short answer variety. The teacher provides the question either aloud or in writing somehow that the students can see, as well as with the answers that go with the question. The exception is short answer, where it lets the teacher type in the question if they want to while launching. Now the teacher must pose the answers for multiple choice questions because also there is nowhere to type them in the software. Okay, so let's see, for example, I can launch a multiple choice question, okay, and then when the student logs in, they can click on the correct answer. Okay, so I can say something like, my favorite color is A, red, B, blue, C, green, D, yellow. Okay, and then the correct answer is C, okay, is green. Okay, so I can just see how many students answered each answer choice, okay, to see which is the most popular answer. Okay, now I can come back to launch, and I can launch a true-false question. Okay, so I'm going to end that. Okay, and the question will be, the COVID-19 pandemic is over. And so we'll see how many people think it's true, how many people think it's false. Okay, and then I can also launch a short answer question. Okay, and when I do, I can either say it aloud or I can type it in. So what is your favorite thing to do when you have free time? Okay, and I can, switch the options, allow unlimited responses, require students' names, whatever, one attempt, etc., and I can start that question. Okay, and then when the student logs into the Schneid 2283, then they will be able to answer. Okay, so that's how the quick questions work. They're just informal polls, and of course you always want to click Finish to stop that activity. Okay, now the next area to show you up at the top are reports. And so we get a list of all of the quizzes that we've done. There's the exit ticket that I did, the favorite thing to do when you have free time, etc. Okay, so I'm just going to click, and it tells you the type on the right. So here was the Socrative demo quiz. I'm just going to click on it and look at the results. So I had only one participant, and I can show the responses, and I can show the results. Now remember that you can't share unless you upgrade, but you can export your report. Okay, and so you have these options. So you can have all the results go into an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, and you can also have individual student PDFs or a results summary PDF or also an answer key PDF. And you see that the options, most of them you have to upgrade to Pro. In fact, the only one you don't is including explanations for the answer key. You can turn that on. Now for all of the reports you can easily download, email, or save to a OneDrive or a Google Drive or whatever you're using. Okay, and so that is the reports. Basically give you the same as what's on your results page for whatever you have launched. Now we also have rooms here, okay, and you with the Pro version can have up to 20 rooms. However, for the free version you can only have one. Okay, and you can share that room, you can look at your roster, you can delete the room. You can also edit your room name. So let's say that's too hard for students, and I want to give this room. Okay, the room name is now changed, and notice at the top it's changed as well. That might be a lot easier for students to remember, okay, or I can make it something else. Okay, so now that we did that, I want to show you, or let's pause for a minute, okay, and pause the video and jot down just a few ideas of how you could use Socrative with your students. Okay, we will wait for you to come back. Hopefully you came up with some great ideas. Well, here are some more ideas. Maybe we've had, some of the same ideas because they do say great minds think alike. Now, you can use Socrative to find out what your students feel about a topic or an issue. You can use it to gather students' opinions about topics and issues. And you can have students compete against each other in a space race, which may really increase the motivation and involvement. Okay. Now another thing as an instructor is you can look at trends from the class's answers. Is there a common misconception? Are students misunderstanding something that you have taught them or something they've learned outside of the classroom? And that could really help you to know how to modify your instruction. Now you can use the quizzes and quick questions as icebreakers to get your students' attention and to get students knowing each other better, okay, and also to get students interested in a topic. Now you can also check what students know about a topic before it is taught, as well as review materials that were taught before and you're revisiting them now. You can quiz students about any reading or viewing of a video. Okay, so that's a common use for this. Okay, and you can check for understanding live while the material is being presented. So that's a great, thing if you can think quickly on your feet, and you might need to go back and reteach something or clarify something if your quick quizzes are showing you that students are not understanding something correctly. Now, at the end of the lesson, checking for understanding with an exit ticket is an excellent technique, as well as you can see what students feel that they understood. Now, you can also have students sign up for their own accounts if they want, so they can create their own quizzes for self-study. Okay, and so again, they would have to sign up for a free account first, and then they would have their own room name, and then they could be a student in their own quiz, just the same way you saw during my demo that I simply used another tab and pretended I was a student. Okay, so they can do that with themselves, really. Now, in a foreign language class, you can post a picture in a multiple choice question and then have students select the correct words to describe the picture, or vice versa. Like I said, you can have the question be the wording and the answers be pictures. So that would be great for foreign language classes where students are really, becoming familiar with different words and phrases. Now, for art classes, you can quiz students on identifying various works of art or architecture or important facts about them. And for math classes, you can have students explain their thinking on a posed problem by using an open-ended question. Okay, and there is the math editor in there, so they could type out mathematical symbols and equations and such. Okay, you can also test students on formulas and concepts, and you can post a multiple choice question in a quiz, have the question be a graph or some other schematic that students have to answer with answering questions about or analyzing in some way. Now, Socrative with ADA compliance. Okay, they do not directly accommodate learners with special needs. Okay, they say this on their website. And the app can work in conjunction with screen magnifying and screen reading software programs. Okay, so although they do not directly work to accommodate learners, the app can allegedly work with these technologies. Now, they say they are taking the following steps, and this is right on their website. Okay, they are working on being compliant to web standards and mobile accessibility best practices. They're forming a committee on accessibility and educating their employees on the topic. And they are also incorporating accessibility guidelines. So that is what I wanted to show you about Socrative. Okay, and again, it's very easy to use. There's a lot of variety in what you can do. And so if you have any questions or comments about this video, please feel free to contact us at ciol@mdc.edu. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.